weren't going to have a wedding. We were just going to have a little celebration. And then now it's called a wedding celebration. And then we already sent out the invites and we already have the date. It's in January. Super, mind you, today's November, 11th? And then it's going to be about, less than 2 months. Funny enough, like our parents met for the very first time.
What?
Yes.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I know, but long overdue. It's just,
What do you mean,
yeah, dude.
Okay, and you think this is normal?
Probably not. Courthouse was just to apply, like me and Claudia ourselves.
Okay.
You apply for it, you get the application, you have to wait 3 days, and that paper has to be notarized, which her aunt did.
So you turn that in.
So then we get that paper signed and officiated and all that stuff. That you turn in. The day you sign the paper, that's your marriage date. So for us, it's November 1st.
Do you put a date on when you want it to be?
You put the date on.
If I can't imagine doing this with anybody else or wanting to do this with anybody else. Like, I'm happy that it is with her. And if anything, it's an opportunity for us to really find ways to work together, to overcome things and to learn new things about each other. And I think that that's what's really cool about the progression of relationships. It's constantly learning and how you can overcome these obstacles, maybe? Challenges, things that you just kind of don't expect.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Coffee Breakup.
Welcome back, where we want to share our weekly updates of our current wedding/engagement/life update.
Yes, I thought I would be getting off easily, which I think I still am, but it's not as easy as I thought it would be. Because originally we weren't going to have a wedding. We were just going to have a little celebration. And then now it's called a wedding celebration. And then we already sent out the invites and we already have the date. It's in January. Super, mind you, today's November, 11th? And then it's going to be about, in less than 2 months. So we have the venue, but there's so many other moving parts. Because I was like, I thought it's going to be super chill. Like, we're just going to have a party. We're going to, hang out with the people that I love the most, that we both love the most, and just really, really just have a good time. But then now, like, my wife, Claudia, she's like, well, if we're going to do this, then I don't want to half-ass this, and I want to do that. And, like, well, if everyone's going to be there, it would be really nice if my dad could walk us out, like walk me out, because, I think it'll be really important to him. He's not the youngest, And I'm like, walk you out, like down the aisle? I thought this wasn't a wedding. So now I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. And then she's like, what's the budget? I'm like, maybe 2,000 for like a party, whatever. She's like, there's no way, because with the food, the drinks, and this. The
venue alone.
The venue, like all these. Well, we were lucky enough to have Claudia's family kind of.
But still, I mean, if you look at the actual overall budget being spent, it's no longer 2,000.
No.
Unless it's only your part is 2,000.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. But she's like, it's probably going to be around $5,000. I'm like, $5,000? I thought we were doing this to not have a wedding so we could not spend a lot of money on it, because we both agreed it's an insane amount of money to be spending on one evening, especially for us. Like, we don't have that type of money, theoretically. So that's kind of where I am, so we went from not having anything to having something in the background to now having a full-on event, a venue, kind of all kind of thing. Like, it's slippery slope.
So for those of you who don't know, both Marvin and myself, we had proposed to our significant others earlier this year, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I guess we both thought that this was going to be, hey, you're engaged, get married. Yeah. Marvin's, I guess, was a little bit more simple, but we thought we could be enjoying this ride. And turns out there's a lot going on. So I just had my engagement party, and it was kind of a big thing.
Really nice.
She has a big family.
Really
it turns
nice.
out, your significant Claudia also has a big family. Yeah. But it seems like you were just trying to get eloped quick, then a little party to celebrate basically your marriage.
Yes, 100%.
Right? So it seems like, I think that when you had first talked about having a party, you thought like, a backyard party, invite some people, we get together.
Right.
Hey, we got married. And this was the goal, just to basically like save money?
Save money, keep things simple. Not
but is this what you guys wanted?
Yeah, 100. Like what? To have something small and intimate? Yeah.
The way that you guys are doing this. So let me rephrase the question. If you guys were to, let's say weddings weren't that expensive. So is that something that you guys would have entertained if money wasn't, obviously I'm not saying, go crazy with the wedding. But if you were able to do like a wedding where a ceremony, you could walk down the aisle, would that in your mind have made sense if it wasn't as expensive?
I mean,
Because it seems like you were trying to avoid that to not spend so much money.
So exactly, the key component was the money thing. Obviously, if money was an issue, if we obviously were in a better position, or if things weren't as expensive, then maybe it would have made sense, you know.
But is that what you guys would like wanted? Because it's different. Like for instance, Christina wants that, right? So we're trying to cut corners and budgets for it to happen while it not costing an arm and a leg what a traditional wedding kind of is. Like, you know, we're trying to say, okay, the backyard of her parents' house, saving money on the venue. We're looking for hookups like wedding planning. Like we're looking for someone who is a planner to be able to give us a discount. Flowers, like her and her family, she has a big family, they're all helping to do it together. So we'll buy the flowers, but instead of having someone decorate the flowers, we're going to have someone do some parts, but the family's going to do like their own thing to do smaller decorations to not have to pay for those. So that's 100%. How we're cutting corners. So I already know that I have to do a ceremony, wedding, all these things.
Right.
You didn't want
we didn't want that. We didn't really want it. Now, granted, if someone's going to be like, hey, like who doesn't want to spend and time and celebrate the love that you guys have with the people that you guys care the most. So if anybody would walk down the street and be like, hey, like I'll pay for your wedding, and it's who's
you
gonna
want
say,
like a game show?
Yeah, who's like, no, I don't want that. I mean, I don't think so. Anybody was gonna, if it's free, fuck it, I'll take it. Or if it's not really a big deal, like if it's you know, if it's free, I'll take it. So for us, it wasn't meant. If obviously if we were in a position to easily do it, we probably would be doing it. But it's not the reality that we live in. So then, okay, now we're at a part where like I think I'm excited for it. Like I'm excited to celebrate with you, Christina, Range, Leslie, like all the people that I care about the most. And Claudia's family as well, and her fans, and for us all to just have a good time for a few hours, I think it'll be really nice. But there's a good amount of work that comes that entails, even though this is not a wedding,
but
it's pretty damn close.
It sounds like that's what it was. And you know, it's funny because months ago we went to Carly's after party after her wedding.
Yes,
we had this conversation like, oh, what do you mean by a party? And we thought the same thing. We're like, oh, we get a love that we do our own thing. And then we just celebrate with our family.
Yes.
And then when we said that, it's almost like, yeah, we celebrate the family where I'll wear white, you wear your tuxedo, and then we'll walk down an aisle. Yeah. And I'm like, but that's not a party anymore. Yeah. That sounds like a wedding.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of what happened to you.
Yeah.
You got bamboozled.
No, exactly. And then it's like, oh, well, then we might as well walk me down. And then now we're going to have someone say a few things. So it is like a ceremony. We're gonna have a few, and then she's like, oh, would you want to say a few words? Vows. Say, so it's like, dude, I thought this was just a party. It's not a party anymore. It's not a party. It's a wedding.
Okay.
It's a wedding that is being developed within like 2 months. Okay. So, crash course wedding.
Well, we can say okay, but let's see the update. So you proposed in
September 18. Actually, now we're legally married already.
Congratulations!
Thank you. So let me give you guys a little bit of update
tell us about that.
So for us, we just did like a really small, intimate. Literally, this was very exciting. It was her parents. It was my mom. It was my sister. It was just very small, and like her sisters. And funny enough, like our parents met for the very first time.
What?
Yes, I know. Long overdue.
What do you mean?
Yeah, dude. Long overdue. Obviously, there's a little bit of a language barrier, but it just kind of never happened.
How do you not have this happen, though?
Yeah, I don't know. It's never really.
You guys have been together for how long?
4 years now.
And your parents have never met?
Never met. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think this is normal?
Probably not, but it's just kind of like, you know. Well, remember, the first 2 years that we dated was COVID, so, you know, like that kind of played into it as well. But the truth be told.
It was forever ago.
It was 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Well, I guess, yeah. But yeah, like it just kind of never really occurred. And the thing is, every time they have family functions, it's like, you know how it is. It's not just a few people, it's so many. And I'm like, dude, it's like overwhelming for my mom. So I wanted to have something.
To me.
Yeah, I wanted to have something small for them to meet. And this was kind of perfect. And ironically, it was the day we got married. And people say, oh, that sounds crazy. But
how was that?
It was great because they got along so well. Like my mom was good spirits, and obviously she's had some health issues for the past few years as well. So I wasn't gonna bring her around different cultures. My mom, like these people party and they hang out till late at night, and my mom, it's not like that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like my mom you got to do something.
Not
early.
her scene.
Yes, not her scene. That's a good way of putting it. And I didn't want to put her like in that pressure with like all these people, different language barrier. And
it's already hard enough for you, right?
Exactly. And I'm like, 30 years younger than my mom. So this was a perfect opportunity. Like we never had a function that was like so small and intimate. It was really nice, and then we had champagne. We had a toast. We said a few things, and
This is where at the courthouse.
no, this was at Claudia's sister's house.
Okay.
So her aunt
So it was after, or this is before.
before what?
You went to the courthouse.
The courthouse was just to apply, like me and Claudia ourselves.
Okay.
You apply for it, you get the application, you have to wait 3 days, and that paper has to be notarized, which her aunt did.
She's the notary.
Yeah, so she kind of like did the whole thing and signed. We had the witness. My mom was a witness. Her mom was a witness. They signed, took some amazing pictures, had a nice cake. It was really nice.
So you turn that in.
So then we get that paper signed and officiated and all that stuff. That you turn in. And the day you sign the paper, that's your marriage date. So for us, it's November 1st.
Do you put a date on when you want it to be?
You put the date on. It'll
Okay.
put November 1st. It doesn't mean you have to turn it in November 1st. That's just the date that you have.
So you can turn it in like October. If I turned it in now, but I wanted to put it for December 30th, for instance.
the
would
application, the application, you apply for it, you pay for a fee, like $80 or something. That application is valid for 60 days.
Okay,
So
so
you have
within
to-
those, I can put any date from now until the next 60 days,
Correct.
and then that will be the date officially.
Exactly. And then you go to the courthouse, you
that's-
drop it. One of you can drop it off. We both went. We made it like a little date out
Sure,
of it.
sure.
You gotta show your ID. That's it. You turn it in. They seal it. They stamp it. They give you a copy. That's now your marriage certification or whatever you want to call it. And so that's it. And now if you look up my name or her name online and you look at the marriage certificate, it comes up.
What's the day?
What?
Your-
November 1st.
That's the official. That's your
that,
day.
That's our like. So now I'm moving.
11/1.
11/1.
Beautiful.
So 11/1/2024. So I'm very happy about it. Like, and then some people are gonna be like, well, like you're gonna have the wedding celebration after. But it we were gonna have it in December,
Okay.
but it just kind of worked this way out. So
Well,
even
also,
though-
you also didn't think that it was going to be a wedding. It was just going to be
Yes,
a party
it was just gonna
whenever
be a party.
everyone had time.
yeah, and then now it's a
Turns out.
wedding, and so there's other components too. And as time goes on, we'll talk about it more. But yeah, so we'll have a wedding celebration in January. We are already officially married. But again, in January, that wedding celebration, whatever, we'll walk down. Like she'll walk down, I guess, an aisle. I don't know how that's gonna look like. And her dad's gonna. We're gonna say a few things. She has She's a best friend that's gonna say a few things as well. And it's gonna be some music. It's gonna be really good people, good food, drinks, and all of that. And just have a good time. That's where I
Interesting.
stand. That's
So
what's
it
going on.
turned from, hey, let's have a little get together to celebrate to a wedding.
Yes, the way that
Ceremony,
what I thought,
reception.
what I had in mind originally was like we go to her family's house, or and like we do so many times for other events and functions, and hey, everybody's there. But and then that's we have a good time. That's what I thought would be happening. But then she's like, well, I can only invite if I invite this person. I gotta like. She's like, oh, I have so many family members to invite. And I'm like, dude, just do it. Let's do something small and intimate. And she's like, well, and that's not really a thing in my family. Because if you don't invite this person, then they get mad. And you don't invite that aunt, and you got to invite her.
That happened to us for the engagement.
blah, blah, blah,
party,
blah,
actually.
yeah.
I think someone made a comment like, "You're not going to invite so and so," and we're like, "All right, fine." But then it's like, where do you draw the line at that point? Where that's where it's like a slippery slope, which I get. Like, okay, family's big, it's important. You want to get the right people, but it's also like this should be your stuff. Like this is your event,
Yes.
right? So you have to make sure that the people who go is someone that you guys want. Not just because someone's gonna get mad that they didn't get invited when you don't even want them there. Like you just want to avoid an issue with someone.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if I don't talk to you on a regular basis, like why am I inviting you to my wedding?
Right.
No hard feelings, but like I think I don't really see that happen. Especially, I mean, if you have a big family, at some point you got to cut it off. So at this point, I think we have, like 80 to 100 people.
What?
Yes, I don't even know how that's even possible.
It's like 70 of them is all Claudia's family.
100%. Yeah, like I already.
Actually, no, you have like 10 brothers and sisters. So
Yeah, I mean, I have a big family, and big compared to I have like a lot of sisters and a brother, but in terms of the people that are attending and actually like it's not like she has like the ratio is like 8 to 2.
yeah, it's very
Yeah.
sad.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to spend time with her family and with my friends and with you guys or my family as well. So it should be a good time.
Okay, man. So
Yeah.
a lot of things coming up your way, man.
A lot of things going on. So like now, it's so many parts that are like. So we have the venue now. We're about to close on like finding a DJ, and I think we're gonna have like a hookup with that, and now we get to get the liquor, the food. I mean, you know how it is. You've just had an engagement party,
It's the
so
thing, dude. Like, I
it's-
think the budget that we had for our engagement party sounds like it's the budget you're gonna have for your wedding.
I'm thinking that. I mean, not for anything. Your engagement party was remarkable. It was really nice. It was I mean, you guys had staff there and caterers and this and that. I mean,
It makes your life easier.
yes,
Like, it really with those people, right?
yes,
But
yes, yes.
yeah, we had, we had a paella, so we had, like, people set up, they were basically cooking there, which is easy. It's like one big dish, serves everybody. You don't have to really worry about, like, chicken or steak
We're
or
gonna do
whatever,
it-
which
yeah, we're gonna
I
do
think
this.
at a wedding, maybe I don't even know. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm afraid of, dude, because it's like, we go back to how, we got engaged and we're expecting all these things. I thought that we were going to be able to kind of, enjoy the engagement or kind of
Yeah.
enjoy this process. But no, dude, from the minute that you put the ring on, it's like, oh, we got to plan this, we got to plan that.
Yeah,
And that's that, it's funny because she had thrown in my face, we should just do an engagement party turn wedding,
okay.
which is just like, hey, by the way, like, imagine if you guys would have shown up and we're like, surprise, we're getting
Ah,
married.
Yeah,
Which in hindsight, I kind of wish we did. However, I didn't like how soon it was. Like, if we would have maybe conversed it a little bit better,
yeah.
we could have said, like, hey, if we're going to do the engagement party turn wedding, then let's enjoy the engagement a little bit longer. Because we kind of, I don't want to say we rushed the engagement party. I think we did it when we had to. If we wanted to get the wedding by the next year, which is
The
more
goal.
traditional.
Right, yeah.
Right? Where you do the party and then you get married.
Yeah.
But if we would have done an engagement party turn wedding, we kind of rushed it. It's for November because that's when her aunt was going to be in town. Her aunt, she's always traveling. She works, she works like, I think, in Nevada or something
Yeah.
like that. She's always all over the place. So she finally made time to come down and see her family. So it's like, oh, this is when we have to do the engagement party in order for her to be there.
Yep.
But if we would have done the engagement party turn wedding, I feel like that would have been too soon from when I gave her the engagement. Like, because I wanted to enjoy this engagement.
That's kind of.
And I feel like I haven't been able to, because then it's like, oh, we should have done it. I swear, all these things. And it's like, if communication was a little bit better, I would have just said,
Yeah.
hey, let's maybe do it for February or March
yeah.
of next year to just like plan better, enjoy this. But from the moment that the ring was put on the finger, it's like, oh, we got to do this and then that and plan for this. And then the wedding. And then we got to look for vendors and photographers because then they get booked out. Because that's the other
true.
thing. When it's wedding season, everyone is taken. All the prices are high because it's like everyone knows that they're gonna get booked, right? That you're
Yeah.
gonna get the flowers, you're gonna get the venue. So imagine if we needed to get a venue, if we wait during wedding season, which is usually like the winter here in Miami,
So
because
that,
no one wants to be out in the
that was
summer.
my thing. When is wedding season for people that might know? Because I don't know. Is it
I think wedding
Fall?
season. I don't.
spring?
You see, this is two men talking about wedding. We don't even
I
fucking
don't
know.
know.
I think
I don't know.
wedding season is more. I would assume more here in Miami because of how hot it is. It's more on the outside of summer, so more like during
Yes.
fall, we call it.
Sure.
And then the beginning of the new year up
Yeah.
until like March maybe, because that April, May, fucking the summer here in Miami is brutal. So
Rough.
you don't want to be outside.
Right.
And yeah, you could do something inside, and I guess that's like what off season will be. But I think it's nicer, like it gets busier during the end of the year because everyone wants to finish the year or start the new year with
Right.
this big celebration. So that's typically when wedding season is. It's
Okay,
like
so- yeah,
the
so-
end months to the start of the new year.
So fall, traditionally in spring, kind of.
So when most people want to do a wedding at that time, when you want to get the right photographer, they're probably already booked. When you want to get a certain caterer, they're probably already booked, unless it comes with the venue, which the venue might also already be booked. So there's a lot of moving things. You know
Well,
what I mean?
some venues,
So that's-
they get booked up 12 months in advance.
Which is
sometimes.
why the moment I put the ring on the finger, I thought we can coast a little bit, but it's like, no. It's
Clock
like we
ticking.
got to start. We need a date. And if we need the
Yeah.
date, then we got to make sure who's going to go. We got to send the invites out. We got to make sure that we can book the DJ, the lights, the flowers, the food. There's so much, bro.
Yeah.
There's so much. So that's the route that we're taking. And it turns out that it looks like you're taking that route too. But
Yeah,
crash
maybe-
course.
Yes, crash course for sure. Because she's like, oh well, if I want to do this, then I don't want to have asset and this and this. And I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna do this. 3 things that people are gonna care about at this function. It's the food that they're eating, it's the drinks that they're consuming, and it's the music. Everything else is a bonus. Like because she's like, oh, the flowers, no one's gonna give a fuck
Turn
about
lights
them.
and then the decorations.
No one's gonna
over
give a
here. I'm
fuck.
like, yeah, they're gonna
it's like-
forget about it.
Yeah,
Like, you're
no one's
stressed
gonna
about it
yeah.
for what?
If a clip, like I said, it looks nice. You think in a week after or 3 days after, you're gonna be like, man, the flowers.
Or
are
like
really
5
fucking
years
nice.
later, be like, you know what I really liked about your wedding? You remember those little decorations that, bro, no one's gonna.
Flowers. But when the food sucks, that's a problem. If the drinks are not good, that's an issue. If the music is not good, okay, now you have a problem. But anything else is just cake of the topping of the
Icing,
yeah,
icing on top of
icing on top of the cake.
cherry on top.
Yeah. So and I told her like anything else, like we'll get good food, we get good drinks, we get good music. So anything else is kind of just a bonus. And she's like, oh, I wanted to do it right, and I get it. You want to do something, you want to do, especially inviting people. You know, like you want to be proud of that. I get that, but like, relax, dude. We're different tax brackets. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's kind of how it goes. But I don't know. It's crazy how much do you feel like a lot has changed since, like, look where you guys are now from like starting to date. And then I know at first you guys had like a little bit of like, oh, like, are we doing this? Are we not doing this?
When we
Like,
first started,
we're dating, right? Back in,
Oh,
yeah,
we were
to where
actually.
you're now.
She told me, I think it was last night, that she's like, was it last night or before she left? She had a wedding yesterday. She was working all day, but we were together, and she's like, man, how crazy. And I'm like, what? She's like, we're gonna get married.
Yeah.
Like, remember how we started dating and like all these things to now, like you're gonna be my husband, right? So it's a little bit crazy when we
Yeah.
go through kind of our journey, because it wasn't just like you guys met and then started talking, dating,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
came together. It's like kindergarten. I had already kind of known her. It's kindergarten, whatever, but like I had a crush on her, and then like I always like I saw a picture. I'm like, holy shit, I had a crush on her. We rekindled in college, where we kind of tried, but not really. It wasn't
Yeah.
really serious. So it's like, okay, this isn't gonna work out. So then rekindling again after. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But you ask me if anything has changed. You know, and I think that this is what's beautiful of relationships. It really teaches you how to be patient, and it teaches you how to prioritize and value certain things more than others. Because, like, and I got to tell you, like, we went through some very stressful, no, I don't want to say very stressful, but it was pretty stressful, just kind of leading up to just the engagement party. And it's like, she's probably stressed out about something. I think I told you. She's stressed out about something, and then I'll be just chilling there in the corner, just minding my own business. She looks at me, and then she's mad that I'm not stressed with her.
Yeah.
Right? So then she starts stressing me out about certain things. I'm like, all right, fine. Then I start getting stressed, and then she gets mad that I'm stressed.
Right.
It's like there's really no winning. And then I say this to, call my friends, and I think even like her brothers. It's like, yeah, it's like that. Like,
Yeah.
you could just be chilling, but then if they see you having a good time, it's like they want to kind of
Yeah.
shake it up a little
Exactly. It's like this guy is there having too much of a good time.
bit. Yeah, can't have it.
Yeah.
Can't
Have
have it.
it. Chilling. Nah.
So no, but for me, it's just like a new journey, like a new chapter in our lives, and there's going to be those stressful times or those things that you've never encountered before, because
Yeah.
like we're kind of like creatures of habit. We get
Yeah.
used to certain things, and this is how we operate, and we kind of figure out how to solve certain problems to not have poor patterns,
Mhm.
right? To like not
Yeah.
remake them. So it's like when you kind of talk about wedding, like this is the first time, hopefully the last time. So it's like
Yeah.
you're opening up this box of all these surprises and all these
Yeah.
things that could go wrong. How do you and your partner navigate through it together?
Mhm.
And don't get me wrong, man. There's days that I'm like, I don't even want to fucking talk to her, dude, because it's like we've just been like, it just feels tense with everything that's been going on. But then you look back at it, it's like, yeah, but I chose this person, and now it's how, like, if I can't imagine doing this with anybody else, or wanting to do this with anybody
Yeah.
else. Like, I'm happy that it is with her, and if anything, it's an opportunity for us to really find ways to work together and to overcome things and to learn new things about each other,
Yeah.
and then support each other. Because then, it like, she was stressed out, so now it's almost like, okay, well, what role do I have in order to maybe alleviate that from her?
Sure.
And then she'll have an opportunity, hopefully, to be like, well, I was really stressed out about shit that really probably didn't matter, that shouldn't have. How do I navigate that moving forward so that it doesn't happen again, and then I don't bring that stress to you?
Yeah.
And I think that that's what's really cool about the progression of relationships. It's constantly learning and how you can overcome these obstacles, maybe?
Challenges. Yeah.
Challenges, things that
Yeah.
you just kind of don't expect.
Yeah, I can see that. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of what relationships are all about, and having somebody to go through life with, and not just the ups, and because everybody has, you can find anyone to have a good time with, But when things are a little bit tough, when things are stressful, when things are going, like, hey, there's pressure on it, like that's when you really kind of figure out who's this person with me, and you're doing life with this person. So I think it's important. Obviously no one wants to struggle, but those are the moments that really kind of define the relationship.
So now with this new found wedding, apparently, that you
Yeah.
guys are doing, no longer a little party. How do you feel about that? Do you feel almost like, man, I feel like I got hustled into this, or are you
No.
like, oh no, I'm excited for it?
No, I'm excited for it, and I think because the other day we were talking like she's like, oh, like we were talking about the budget, and then I'm like, everything has happened so fast, and then and I knew that obviously there's gonna be some money that needs to be spent, and the good thing is her family is really supportive, and they're gonna help out with whatever they can, and putting things together, and the venue's already booked in and stuff like that. So it's a huge help. But and I think even Claudia herself, like at first she was like, oh, like yeah, we're gonna do something in the backyard, and then after thinking, well, backyard doesn't really all the people that are gonna go, like can't have a space that's big enough to host everybody. Then like, and then I'm like, okay, like we need a venue, and a venue. Okay, we get the venue, and then next thing you know, like, oh, we need music, DJ, da, da, da. All that made sense. But then like, oh well, everybody wants me to have our dad walk me down, and I'm like, walk you down what? And then I'm like, well, I guess there's gonna be an aisle. I don't even know what that's gonna look like. And then she's like, oh well, maybe somebody needs to say a few things, and I'm like, okay. And then she's like, oh, do you want to say something? I'm like, say what? And she's like, oh, I'm gonna say
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna say a few things. If you want to say a few things, if you're gonna say a few
About
things,
what,
yeah, like vows.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I mean. Like, say, what do you mean by saying a couple of things?
Well, she's like, well, if you're gonna say something, I have to say something.
Can you imagine?
No, okay.
Thanks.
So to go back to your original question, I don't feel like I think it's kind of how it kind of worked out. I think down in hindsight, it's gonna be an amazing experience, and we're gonna look back and be like, man, this is really happy. Because at the end of the day, it is just one moment that, hopefully we don't have to go through that again. I don't want to get married again. I love her.
I got you. Oh, I got you. I knocked out.
So thank you. And like I want her to be happy. I want it to make sense. But if we could do it and it's reasonably priced, and we'll move a few things around. But yeah, if that's what's gonna be, and I'm excited to, like now we're married, and I'm very happy. Oh, it's been stressful. It's been a tough couple of weeks, and again, like it's one of those things. You have some ups, you have some downs, but ultimately, I'm excited for it.
Do you think that there was outside influence that played a role in her throwing all these things at you?
100%, because she's.
I'm sorry, it almost seemed
Yeah.
like you guys maybe agree. I gotta be honest with you, because I feel like when you say things, like you believe it, which is good. But I feel like when she says it, she'll say it just for you to believe it, but I don't think she really wants it.
Well,
Like,
give
for
me
instance,
an example.
like the day at Carly's, where she's like, yeah, we're gonna do a party, and we're like, oh, okay, and then she goes, yeah, I'm gonna wear a dress, and we're gonna walk down and all these things, and it's like, wait, that's no longer a party. Like, you're not, now it's almost like, yeah, it's a party, but like she kind of steers it more to what she wants. And then now seeing like there was outside influence, because then she said like, oh well, they said that they want to do this, or what about this? So you feel like after you guys had spoken about, yeah, we're gonna do this little party, whatever, then it's like, oh, what about this person? Then this person's gonna feel bad, and then but then you gotta walk, and then someone wants to say. You feel like then they started like chirping in her.
Yeah, 100%. So she went over to her family's house, and they kind of planning these things out. She has so much help from her family and her friends too. And then everybody, she's like, oh well. So she left, and like, okay, have fun, whatever. And then she comes back and she's like, well, maybe we should do this and do that and do that. And then my mom said this and my aunt said that. And then if you do this, then you got to do that. And all her sisters were like, well, you have to have your dad walk you down the aisle because, you're the youngest one. It may not happen again, da da da. So she feels like, well, if they tell me this, and I kind of got to do it. And then she brings it up to me. Am I going to be the asshole who tells her, like, no, you're like, fuck you and your family too? Like, no. Like, so, yeah, I think, and I don't think I love her family. I don't think they mean anything bad by it. I think they just want to be like, well, if you do it, you might as well do this. And then it's
if
one
you're
thing.
gonna do it right.
Yes.
It's kind of what it sounds like.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. But it's like, at some point, you have to kind of draw the line too.
Yeah, because my thing is like,
yeah.
is it, do you want to do it? Because that's the thing with Christine. Like, Christine will be like, well, yeah, I want to do it, but I also am realistic and I know when to not do certain things. But if her parents are like, oh, well, I want it to happen, it's like, well, I guess we're gonna do it then, right?
So can you draw a line in the sand, and is that it, or
Me?
no? You and Christina.
No.
So there's no line.
No. Like, the thing is, there's nothing that we can plan, because I feel like at the end of the day, well, certain things. One, her parents were doing it at her fucking house.
Okay.
So it almost feels like they can invite whoever the fuck they want. Really. A. B, we're very fortunate that, they are helping a significant amount and, to set up certain things. Yeah, we're going to be covering a portion of it, but they are helping us a lot. Especially, she's the youngest. She's the only daughter. So I get it. Because at one point, I thought the same thing. I'm like, we could do our own thing, and we do a little party to celebrate. But then she's like, oh, but my dad needs to walk me down the aisle, and my mom wants this to happen. So like, I get it. So and me, like, I don't really care. Like, I'll do whatever it is to make her happy. I just don't want it to be like blown out of proportion because like we still have to cover a certain portion. I don't
Yeah.
want to, save all this money and then just dump it all for one day, and then it's like whatever. Especially when it's something I don't really care about. Like I'm only really care about it because she cares about it. Like that's like the extent that I care.
For sure.
And obviously it's a big day, so because of that, I would want my friends there and the people that I care about to be there. So to a certain degree, like, okay, I get it, but I also didn't need that. Like if she would have been like, oh no, let's elope and let's do this, I would have been like, okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
right? But no, like I get it. Okay, so since we're doing the traditional, it's like, yeah, I am gonna invite my friends and I am gonna invite the people that I want to be there, but. Yeah, a lot of it was, I think what she wants is a massive wedding. She just can't. So she's going to do as massive as she can within reason,
yeah.
within the budget.
Is there a head count on or an estimate on people?
100 to 150. It's ridiculous.
They all fit in the house?
If I'm not mistaken, I think there was over 100 people for Christina's grandfather's 90th birthday. Her mom threw him a big party, and he's getting old. He's 90 years old, so he's starting to slow down a little bit. So they wanted to make this birthday like a big birthday, so they had a bunch of people, and yeah, it made sense. Like there's a lot of people that are really tied up together, like on the pool area when people were food, whatever. But then they had the big backyard, also like the golf course in the back that you can open up and you can kind of walk around a little bit. So you have a little bit of an extension out there. And I think for us, we're trying to plan like to have a little bit of a ceremony kind of like on that golf course area. So then we kind of free up the house. And then once then the cocktail hour starts, that cleans up, and then we'll be partying
That's
in the
amazing,
backyard.
dude.
So
It's
yeah,
gonna be
it's very, like, we're fortunate. Like, we're very blessed. And dude, her family's amazing. I love her family too. Like, yeah, like I'm extremely grateful. But it's like, well, what do we want versus what do the outside people want? And I think that's kind of like what happened to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like little birds, twittering in her ear, and she's like, "Well, you should maybe do this and do that," and then.
But like deep down, does she want that? And you just think that
I mean,
her family
maybe,
telling her. It's more like,
I'm sure she
"Hey."
would want to
That's
walk
true,
down
that's
the
true,
like
that's true.
an hour
Yeah,
with her.
yeah,
She's not gonna be like, "No, I don't want that."
Sure,
Um,
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? So certain things, obviously, within reasons. I think it's gonna be nice. I think if everybody, it's gonna be some elbow grease involved. And good thing is, so it's Saturday. It's on a Saturday evening, but we'll be able to have the venue the whole day. So we're gonna be there for single in the morning, like me and me and Claudia.
Well,
Maybe
Christina's
Christina,
with
maybe
the
Christina
pictures.
too. Actually.
Taking
Yeah,
pictures.
Christina too. But it's gonna be
I'll
all
be
hands
there
on
with the
deck.
drone.
Yeah, in the fucking banquet hall. It's gonna be all hands on deck. Her sisters, her aunts, her mom, putting together the flowers and all kinds of things. And it really it's gonna take a village to make this happen. And then in a way where it doesn't break the bank, and it's gonna be very nice for everybody. But I think once we have those three components, food, music, drinks covered, which we're in the process of finalizing, it's gonna open up some things for sure for us. But yeah, it's a lot of planning, it's a lot of pressure, and then her birthday's coming up. We have Christmas coming up. We're gonna go on so we have the little celebration, and then we're gonna go on like a honeymoon right after.
You guys have it planned already? It's a surprise. Or still in the works?
It's still in the works. I'm trying to iron out the details, but that's what I'm like. I have all these things going on, plus other things that are going on too, obviously.
Yes.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. Losing my mind, but we'll make it happen.
Are you still gonna be so no bachelor party for you?
So people keep asking me, and people at work be like, "Yo, like you got married, and
Maybe like a honeymoon with your boys.
have you guys like tag along?"
No, but like you do your honeymoon with your girl, and then you're like, oh, we have a post
Yeah,
wedding.
yeah. I don't know, man. I haven't really given it too much thought about. It would be nice to do something, even if it's just. I think you brought it up the other day. Even if we're not going anywhere, but it would be nice to have like a boys' weekend or like something. You brought it up. I'd be down for that.
It's funny, like we'll do it's kind of like the party that you thought you wanted to do for your wedding.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, we'll just get together. It's like we end up like in Colombia or something.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be fun. Like
Kidding.
because realistically, like I don't really, like life is just only gonna get busier and busier. So
Sure.
at some point,
That's the other thing too.
exactly. So I wanna be sure that I can spend, genuine and quality time with the people that I care about, with the guys that I care about, with you, with Range, and some of my other friends as well. So I'm gonna make that a point as well. I just don't know exactly when I'm gonna squeeze it in. But also, you have also like a bachelor party coming up, or
That's the thing. I'm
what's
not, like
that?
I would like one. So I'm kind of in between both, and I think I spoke about doing like bachelor party. She does a bachelorette party, but because she wants, I think she want to do like Palm Springs,
Told me,
like
that's
something
nice.
California, cute stuff, with like her girlfriends and like her in laws, whatever. And then me, I want to do something with my boys, and like I just want to like same thing that you did. Like I just want to hang out with my boys. Like the more I'm getting closer to it, and I remember like hearing like bachelor party, bachelorette party, like oh people are strippers and you go out get fucked up and hoes and all these things, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I just want a day that I can just hang out with my boys, do whatever I want, like hang out, talk shit,
Yeah.
and that's kind of it. I don't really care about that shit. So and I think that would like you could justify with traveling for a bachelor party so you can kind of have like your own clique together.
Yeah.
But I did think because if we were to do like a joint bachelor bachelorette, then we can do something like big. For instance, I've been wanting to go to Oktoberfest in Germany.
That would be cool.
So it's like if her and I were to get married next year in December, we could do like a big joint bachelor bachelorette party to go to like Oktoberfest or something like that, right? Because then it's not like she just goes to Palm Springs, California, and I'll go to I'm thinking like Costa Rica, Bimini, something like I don't know, cool to just hang out, drink, beach, whatever, something I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if we did something together and big, we'll be able to split the cost just for us two to go rather than individually do our things. So I'm still up in the air, but I would like to do some sort of bachelor party just again to hang out with my boys and be like, oh, I'm getting you married, whatever, and then get married. That's at least how I have it.
I like that. Yeah.
I don't know specifics.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is you have some time to think about everything and put things into the works because this would be like next fall.
That's what we say, dude. We got time to think about it. Time is going like this.
True.
You got engaged. You're already fucking married. Time's going like this, dude.
It's funny because I'm like, I'm at work and somebody was like, oh, like, so we just ordered the wedding bands. So I don't have an actual wedding band yet, but we ordered them online. They're gonna get here like in a few weeks actually. But I've been wearing like some other stuff like just to kind of like, hey, I'm fucking married.
Get comfortable. Oh,
Get comfortable, but also like it makes things easier at work.
really?
Yeah, some people don't fucking hit on me or something like that. I hate that.
No, it's like.
Yeah, fuck. And someone was like, "Oh, like, are you like?" They're like, "Oh, like, how long have you been married?" And I'm like, "Oh, I got married last week." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, when did you get engaged?" "Oh, like it's in September." And they're like, "What the fuck?"
A week before that.
And they're like, "What the fuck?" And then it's funny because when I see people's reaction and like, "Oh yeah, I got married last week." I'm like, honestly. And then they're like, "Oh, you did? You don't remember?" And I'm like, "No, yeah, it was last week." And they're like, "What?" So it's funny, but
he gets more tips now.
yeah, I'm like, "Oh, honeymoon, saving for the honeymoon," and then they leave extra. But no. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how life works, like where we are now, and to when we started each relationship, and now we're buying a home, planning on buying a home, these kind of things, getting married, getting engaged, like like there's just big milestones that we're, I guess, accomplishing, and we are blessed, like dude, we're with two amazing women, and there's a lot of guys out there who wish they would be with somebody like us. And with have women like us, and vice versa, because we have really good women, and obviously I like to say that we're good guys too. So you gotta count your blessings.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to ask the audience, like, what are certain things that maybe you guys did at your wedding that you regret doing, and what are some things that maybe you did that you're like, I'm so happy I did? That's one of the things that now I'm kind of like planning for, maybe even for you for your party.
Yeah.
There might be certain things that you're like, oh, should we worry about this? Or maybe it's like, oh, we have to, but then people are like, I regret doing that. So I think it's important to get some feedback from the audience. If there's anything that you guys regret doing at your wedding or wish you guys did instead, please comment down below, DM us, let us know. We'll do a little story on it. All right.
But yeah, man, that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and yeah, until next time.
Yeah, wish us luck. Also, our Zelle is thecoffeebreakup@gmail.com. So if you guys want to help us
Crowdfund
the weddings.
Or if you guys have some hookups, my fucking uncle has this shop, or they do this, maybe you guys want to hook up the coffee.
Help
breakup?
us!
Yeah, like help me, I'm poor. I mean, but anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We love the support. Next time, bye.
Bye, everybody.